Hey, what's up, everyone? A lot on my mind right now, and it's an interesting situation, an interesting time that we live in right now. We've got this pandemic, we've got this social injustice, we've got all these things going on right now that are really easy to make us lose track, to make us get off track in of what's going on in front of us and what we can do as a society and what we can do as a person to stay positive. You listen to media, you listen to things that are going on, and everything is in a negative light. Everyone is pushing you to think that everything is so bad and everything is not positive, and that is what sells. And quite frankly, it's kind of hard to push forward and be positive when you think about all the negative things that are going on. But positivity is a choice. It's a choice that you have to make. It's something that you have to decide on your own that you're willing to pursue and push for. And that's kind of the way that things have been for me lately. I decided way back, it's almost been a year now since I quit teaching. It's been about a year now since I quit teaching because I could no longer support my family. And I went through a lot of ups and downs, and I went through a lot of questioning what I was doing and questioning my ability and questioning the things that I was doing in order to provide for my family and make things better for me. So you get in this negative headspace. And, about that time, about 3 months after I quit my job, I ran into a few things. I ran into a guy, one of my friends who actually cuts my hair, introduced me to Gary Vee, and he said, "Hey, you should check this guy out." And I started listening to him, and I started getting inspired, and I started realizing that there's a lot of things that Gary talks about that will inspire you to create a better space in your head for you. He talks about kindness. He talks about having empathy for people. He talks about people who are insecure and how they project that onto you because they're afraid to take the leap and do the things that they want to do to reach their goals. And, I started running into all these people. So I run into reading Gary's book, Lewis Howes, and he talks a lot. And he interviewed a guy named Chad Wright. And Chad Wright is a former Marine. And if you haven't listened to his podcast interview with Lewis Howes and you want a little more information on the guy, you should listen to him. And Chad's a Christian, Chad's a Marine, Chad's a whole bunch of different things. But what Chad does is he tries to spread positivity. He said something pretty profound, and I've talked about it before, but it really has been hitting me lately. It's really been making me think about what's going on right now in society. And, the main thing that Chad said in that one interview that I took away with him and Lewis was, your tongue is your rudder. Okay. So in retrospect and thinking about that, if your tongue is your rudder, basically what that is saying is that no matter what comes out of your mouth, that is the direction that's going to drive you. So if you say, because does everyone know what a rudder is? Rudder is the little thing on the end of a boat that steers it, right? So you're steering it back and forth, all right? So it steers you, it drives you, it pushes you where you need to go, it puts you on the path that you're on. So if your tongue, which is what we speak with, right? That's where it all comes together, puts out negative things, it's going to push you in a negative direction. Okay, so your tongue is your rudder. So if I say positive things, if I have positive affirmations, if I'm pushing in a positive direction, then my tongue pushes me in a positive direction, right? And so that's really come to perspective for me as of late, as the media sells negativity, as there's all these negative things going on in the world. Whatever you think whatever you think that negativity is, if you choose to follow that negativity, and it doesn't matter what political side you're on, it doesn't matter where you stand with everything. What it matters is how you are doing what you are doing in whatever that is that you want. So if you say spew negative things and you do negative things to push your agenda, to follow your goals and do all those things, 9 times out of 10, negative things don't make anything better. Okay, almost always never makes anything better. You almost always never feel good about yourself by having a negative outlook on it. And that's where on my journey through all these things that I'm going through in my life, have realized that I feel so much better when I don't when I don't have that negative thought process. Now, am I perfect? No. Is it easy? No. Am I still negative at times? I sure am, but I feel so much better that I'm pushing to be more positive than I am negative. And that's really what it's about. You can sit there and I can think about all the times where I've been negative in the last year, and how people can say, well, you're not really walking that walk, or you're not really talking that talk, but that's not for them. It's for me. It's for me to think about. It's for me to push that. And you need to think about that. And what really pushed this to me this morning was, I was thinking about that podcast with Lewis and Chad, and how they talked about how, again, like your tongue is your rudder, and it's what drives you, right? And I lost a couple followers the other day on Instagram, and I really doubt that it's because of this, but I posted this video that Chad put on Instagram the other day, because everyone wants to know where everyone's at with this, with everything that's going on, the social injustice, the COVID, blah, 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 right? Everyone always wants to know where everyone's at. And Chad put it plain and simple. And as I said before, he's a Christian. And so he started talking about the 10 Commandments. And one of those 10 Commandments is love thy neighbor as thyself. Okay. So it's really simple. To me, that just hit me really hard. It was like, that's the simplest, easiest thing to think about. And if you're not treating people like you would treat yourself, no matter who they are, then you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. Because you need to be a positive influence in everyone's life, no matter what that is. And you need to really think about, is what you're doing something that you would do to yourself? Is it something that you believe yourself? Because if it's not, then you're not doing yourself any justice. You have to think about that. You have to think about the things that you're doing. And it starts with you. It starts with you loving yourself. It starts with you believing in yourself. It starts with you knowing that you are doing the right things. And the funny thing about that is it's not easy. It never is. Nothing's ever easy. Okay. If it was easy, then everyone would do it, right? And that goes with any goal that you have in life. Working towards those goals, no matter what they be, whether it be weight loss, whether it be a job you want, whether it be making money, supporting your family, being there, being a good dad, being a good mom, being good at whatever you do. It's never easy. And we choose a lot of times. The only difference between someone who is successful and someone who is not is when you fail, what you do after. If you quit, success never happens, right? And I talked a little bit yesterday. I had if you haven't checked out my podcast with Zach Peterson yet, I think you should, because he talks a little bit about success for him and how he defines that. And how he defined that success was the fact that setting little goals and then reaching those little goals. And I did a little video on this yesterday on TikTok because it was on my mind, and we were talking about how I have, as a salesman, and this is a simple way to put it, but to set the little goals. But Stephen Covey says you need to begin with the end in mind. That's one of the things that he talks about. And so beginning with the end in mind, you think about the big picture, right? Okay, so yesterday, my big picture was for the day, because this was my goal for the day, was that I had 5 sales calls and I was going to convert all 5 sales calls, right? So convert means I sold every single one that I went on. Okay. And sometimes with sales, you don't know, like the last quote of the day that I gave yesterday was at 5:00. Her husband wasn't home. So I don't know yet if I converted all 5 of them, but I did everything in my power to convert every single one. So the first one I got, the second one I got, the third one I got, the fourth one I got, and the fifth one I don't know about yet. But I treated yesterday as every single sales call as one separate goal, right? What is my goal? My goal is to go in there and bring the person the most value, decide what they want, and educate them so that they can make a good choice on the window coverings in their house. So, I sell window coverings if you didn't know that. But that's it right there, right? And so as I attained each individual goal, the end goal was to convert all 5 sales, right? But the individual goal was I need to convert one at a time. And what am I going to do to convert one at a time? And in the end, if you take every little step there, all 5 of those, I was successful so far in 4 out of 5, right? So that's the thought process behind setting a goal. So if you can't find that positive thing and reach that little goal, then it's not gonna, you've got to decide that, hey, there's this big picture, and I need to decide what the little parts of that are to put the big picture together. And that's how you can become successful. Now, had I not converted those, would I have given up on the last one? Would I have gone into the situation differently? No. I would have thought about the process of what it would have taken to convert that. I could have very simply walked in there and took no for an answer, or not educated them correctly and not helped them make a good choice. But I didn't. The whole process behind that was going back in there and just being the best me that I can be. And so part of that loving thy neighbor is being the best you that you can be, and then you need to pass that on to your neighbor just as you would yourself. Okay, so where does that leave me right now? So I've talked about this a little bit. Positivity is a choice. You have to make that decision. You have to make the decision that you are going to be a positive person. Okay. And through this podcast, what I really love is the fact that I get to interview people that have that mentality. I find the people, for the most part, for myself, and how they are doing things that really push me to want to be the person that I am. And I'm kind of surrounding myself with those people. And it's interesting because a lot of the times they have the same kind of thought process. And so that's what I really like about Liquid Shane Lakita, one of my buddies that I have interviewed on the podcast. If you haven't checked out that episode, I really think you should. I think you should check out the stuff that he says, because he is one of those people that a lot of times, like this morning, I was inspired by him. He said, you need to make a positive ripple. And if you can change that ripple for one person, right? So I say one positive thing, 50 people listen to this, it affects one person, and that one person is going to pay it forward. And this is me paying it forward for him because, he made me really think this morning, because I've been kind of in a hard spot, because you're sitting there thinking about all the things that are going on. It's really easy to get in that negative headspace and think about, hey, what am I doing? How am I helping the situation? And I could sit here and I could get together with my buddies. I could get together with my wife. I could get together with my mom and dad. We could talk about things that are negative and bring it into a negative light, and woe is me, and this is not something that I can fix. It's not my fault, blah, blah, blah. You can find every excuse in the book to be negative, every reason why there's nothing that you can do to change your situation. You can find that. That's easy. But you have to choose to be positive. It's a choice, just like the choice to be negative. So I'm going to tell you right now, for me, the choice is pretty simple, because I've made that switch. I've thought about it quite a bit, and it really has made a difference in my life to choose positivity over negativity. So I want you to think about that today. Think about how you can pay it forward, how you can be a positive person, how you can make a difference in someone's life in a positive way. Something that is going to build them, that bring them value, rather than take away from that. Okay, so that's what I'm going to leave you with today. This is a short episode. Kind of one of the things that I've been trying to get Tuesday, Thursday. I think I'm just going to do a Thursday one because I feel like we're a little overkill with the amount. But there is a couple podcasts that I've done that I'm really proud of. And I think that you should go in there and you should listen to them. And if you want to find a really positive vibe, if you're looking for something to bring you up, check out the podcast. Also, do me a favor, if it brings you value, please share it. Take a screenshot of that thing and share it with other people so that they can get that positive value. If it's made that difference, if you're one of those 40 people that this has made a difference in today, hearing this, and it's made you really think, take a screenshot of this and post it on your Instagram, post it on your Facebook, share the link with someone, go in there and give it a review, because that's what's going to help people to hear my story, hear my voice, and bring that positivity, that value that it's bringing you. So share it, like it, review it. Apple Podcast is kind of the best one to do it on because they have the best analytics, but anywhere you're at, anywhere you're listening to this, if you see it on Instagram, if you see it on Facebook, please share it. Help me to spread the word of positivity. help make that ripple, like Shane was talking about, that positive ripple go and move forward and help other people out and help someone, because you never know where anyone's at in their headspace. And, just spread that positivity. Remember throughout your day that your tongue is your rudder. It's the driving force between you and your life. So drive that boat in a positive direction. Don't drive it off the cliff. Don't drive it into the waterfall. Move it in a positive direction. I hope that you have a great day.